Let's continue with how to create an engaging main character, shall we? Hey guys, what's up today? It's Gilbert, your blogger, writing consultant and the author to the upcoming fantasy novella The Sultan's Daughter, and today we shall look at part 2 on how to create an engaging main character. But before we go any further, hit that subscribe button. So, in the previous video, we looked at the first 3 tips on how to create an engaging main character, and these included: decide the main character's goal and the reason for it, decide the main character's endpoint, and decide the main character's starting point. And we looked at all the relevant examples from fiction and fantasy to go with them. In this video, we shall look at a further 3 tips on how to create a main character that your audience will just want to keep seeing more of. Tip 4. Give the main character a story arc. It is not enough for the main character to just go on a physical journey. He must develop as a character over the course of the narrative due to the experiences that he goes through. Moreover, the audience must see a logical change from who the main character was at the start of the narrative to who he becomes at the end of it. This makes the conclusion of the narrative so much more satisfying. A classic example is Ebenezer Scrooge from Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol. At the start of the narrative, he is rapacious, he's a miser, and he is unconcerned by his family's welfare. But after seeing 3 ghosts and seeing his fate before him, he has a complete 180-degree turn, and he becomes a generous man and a loving grandfather. A more modern and complex example comes from Bruce Wayne / Batman in The Dark Knight. At the start of the film, Bruce is full of optimism. He believes that he can beat back crime, he can make Gotham safer and less corrupt, and in the form of Harvey Dent, Gotham has its White Knight, and then maybe, just maybe, Gotham will no longer need Batman anymore. But by the end of the film, Bruce is demoralized. He has suffered yet another personal loss in the form of Rachel Dawes, and has to take the fall for Harvey Dent's crimes. In short, he has been psychologically beaten by the Joker, and he is a different person from the one we met at the start of the film. Tip 5. Give the main character positive and negative traits. This is the meat and bones of the main character, his personality. Writers should give their main character a blend of typically positive and negative traits, and they should make these traits be an integral part to the decisions and mistakes that he makes, and they should explain why he makes them. I want to add here that conventional main characters tend to have more positive than negative traits. The exception to this is anti-heroes, and we shall look at them and how to write them in a separate video. Our first example of a more conventional main character is Tyrion Lannister from A Song of Ice and Fire. Tyrion is a dwarf, he's small, he's physically weak, he's also prone to drinking and whoring, and he comes from a house that is, well, not exactly known for being honourable. Yet, Tyrion is also witty, he's intelligent, and he has a good understanding for what it motivates those around him. Consequently, he has a knack for getting himself out of sticky situations and for finding solutions to problems. Well, at least he did in the earlier seasons and books. Our next example is Astra from Angelika Koch's Pernicious, True Evil. For those of you who are not so familiar with Angelika Koch's Pernicious and her main character Astra, check out the interview that I did with Angelika earlier this year. Angelika is great, she is fascinating, and her book is just as absorbing. I read it recently, I really enjoyed it, and her main character Astra is a great one. Check it out. Tip 6. Give the main character a flaw. Curiously, what makes a main character interesting and engaging is not his strengths and his positive traits, but actually his weaknesses and his flaw. And by a flaw, I mean the flaw should be internal, and the flaw must impact the main character's decision-making process and the plot vicariously, and be one that the audience can relate to. Just to say, you can make your main character's flaw external. This is often what has to be done with Superman because he is invincible. As a result, they put him into close proximity with kryptonite, or they put his love interest, usually Lois Lane, into danger, thereby giving him a weakness or a flaw. Nevertheless, making a main character's flaw be external is a poor substitute for an internal one, as it makes for less compelling viewing or reading depending on which medium you're in. Therefore, it is best that you make his flaw internal, as we shall see from our examples. Our first example is Dr. Victor Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein is a scientific genius, and he's innovative. He becomes the first person to create life outside the womb, for heaven's sakes. Yet Victor is also ashamed of his creature, and he rejects it outright. His shame is his flaw, and his flaw impacts the plot because when the creature returns, it does so with tragic consequences for Victor, as it murders his brother and his fiancée. Our second example is Shakespeare's titular Macbeth. Macbeth might be a brilliant soldier and battle commander, and some may even regard his ruthlessness as a positive as well. However, he is also temperamental, lacking in political shrewdness, and easily seduced by first his wife, and then the three witches who lull him into a false sense of security with regards to Macduff. Above all, Macbeth's flaw is his conceitedness, and his flaw impacts the plot because when he takes to battle at the end against who else but Macduff, believing that he is invulnerable, he meets his demise. Therefore, like with Dr. Frankenstein, Macbeth's flaw is relatable and the audience understands how he comes about his end as a result of his flaw. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have found this video useful, interesting, and that it makes the writing process a little bit easier for you. Like, comment, and hit the subscribe button below. In addition, come the 2nd of July, my debut fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter, is going to be released, and then you can check to see whether or not I keep to my tips. Until next time, keep well. Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button and then you will be the first to receive more awesome content from my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.